Hi, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today, I'm going to be having a discussion that centers around how I paint this board without a paintbrush. Yes, I do a lot of painting without paintbrushes, and most of the time, after I'm done using a paintbrush, I think to myself, why didn't I do it this other way that I really like doing? But before I begin, I want to mention to you that I have multiple mental conditions. I have horrible allergies to formaldehyde. My chat room here tells you about that in several different series. With that, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm just a person trying to get through things. And so I show you the tips and tricks, the analogies, the metaphors, the therapies, the remedies that I do to just try to live. Basically, the best thing to do is just to watch my videos. I'll put a link below about the issue with the formaldehyde allergy. It basically feels to me like insulation with fiberglass. I'm highly sensitive to it. I will do more videos on, is that the histamine response in me or is that the actual chemical? But it's basically formaldehyde that's in some of our laundry detergents, and it's also in some of the products that we're importing. So I'm highly allergic to that, and it is a horrific experience because it triggers my PTSD. I have complex PTSD. Once it gets into my home, I have to do everything I can to get it out because I'm just in fight or flight until it's gone. So I've created playbook plans. Hopefully you'll follow and you can see the things that I'm doing. But basically right now what I'm doing is look at this room and say, how can I reduce the cleaning time of this room if formaldehyde gets into this room? If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I talked about this. This is just some furring strips with window film put on hinges. So in other words, if somebody comes into my house, or even if I bring it in by mistake without taking the precautions that I usually do, I can clean this room pretty fast. Now, I did a video about the dusters that I use, and absolutely, I love those dusters. I'm not endorsing any products as far as I don't get any money. I don't want any money when I'm trying to help people in this way. If you wanted to do something for me, share the information, like and subscribe, because that tells me it matters to you. I'm just trying to create awareness. I've so far talked to about 10 people personally that are suffering from this issue. They didn't even know what it was. 2 of them were in tears after I told them that what my issues are and that maybe they need to research. And they're watching my videos too right now because I'm giving tips and tricks on what I do to protect myself. A lot of it is research. I have to research things. I have to figure things out, but I make a plan. And having too much in my head kind of stresses me out. So I have playbook plans on things, and part of it is to reduce the chemical exposure. If it gets in my house, how can I clean this quickly? So that's what this is about. It actually looks kind of cool, to be honest. It's a little wonky with it. Kind of looks like this looks bad, but it really doesn't. You can't even see that. For some reason on camera it's picking that up, but it looks pretty darn nice. Actually, I think it looks great. What I'm doing is I'm reducing that cleaning time because if it gets into my house, I have to clean till it leaves. So this board is actually going to be the ledge up here. I noticed that when I took off my old curtains and changed them out for the gray ones, that there was a lot of formaldehyde dust, if you will, getting in between, especially right up here. I could feel it when I was taking them off. And I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to minimize the cleaning? Because it's really hard to get in there. Even with the duster wands that I really like, it's hard to get up there. So that's what this ledge is about. So again, go watch the videos. I talk a little bit about all this stuff in the videos as you go. You'll have to watch them to get that information. But I think you get the gist of the idea. I'm minimizing the exposure. And actually like this. There's a video out there where this wasn't done yet. And really all it is furring strips and window film. That's all that is. Furring strips and window film. It cost about, technically once you buy the window film, it costs about maybe $7, $8, maybe a little bit more. Staples, and I had the gun, and here I still have to use the wood putty, but I just threw it up because I need to protect myself when people come in or I get this exposure. But I think it looks great just as it is. There's a little magnet here. I don't want to touch it because but there's a little magnet right down there that holds it. It's a little pantry that I made. I'll talk more about it in another video. I just want to focus on this here. So how I paint this. I use a sponge, and I'm using the Dutch Boy Dura Clean Kitchen and Bath Paint. This is a semi-gloss ultra white interior. It's 100% acrylic enamel. This product, I use it, but I don't get paid. If you click a link, I don't get paid. I'm just trying to share this information. The only way I would ever want to get paid is if you bought my books, which they're not even online yet, or if somebody made a movie out of my story. But otherwise, I wouldn't want to get paid. I want to share this, and I think it's really important that some of us get back to that understanding that we don't need to make money off of every single thing we do. For me, if I can help one person limit this exposure to help them live better, well, that's my payment. So here what I'm doing is I take my sponge and I get it wet at first, but that's it. I just get a little damp, I squish out the water, and then I just dip it in. And I like this because I'm not getting paint all over the place. And then I just wipe it on. And the nice thing about wiping it on is a long time ago I learned that what you're trying to do when you paint is you're trying to remove any air between the paint and the surface. So even like if you're painting a fence, if you're painting a wall, that's what you're trying to do. So with the sponge, that's really easy to do. And you just keep going and going and going and putting on more coats until it's completely painted. Now, this is a pretty good paint. I have had to do, just right now, I've done 5 coats. Again, the whole thing, the empowerment of knowing that I won't have to clean that anymore. The stress it takes for me to clean that and knowing that I don't have to. Plus the empowerment makes this actually not bad to do. And actually it's enjoyable to me. I love painting. If you know me, you know that I hand paint glass. My son was like, I don't want flowers, Mom. So then I started painting things like this. All right. And then like up here, I think I have like that. I hand painted them. If you want to see them, just write in the comments and I'll make a nice little video about my hand painted glass. But I know a little bit about painting is what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't matter if you're using a sponge or a brush or whatever. You have to make sure that you really get the paint on the surface and almost in a way knead out the air. And that's what I'm doing here. And it's really simple to do with a sponge. Plus, the sponge is picking up any kind of debris that would happen to land on here. And it's just removing it. So that's a really great thing. Now I'm almost done. I might put one more coat on this side and then turn it over. And what I'm doing here, I would, want to say to you that I usually do this downstairs sometimes, especially if it's a small thing. But because this was such a huge thing, I'm just doing it right here in my kitchen. Other thing about this is it makes it so it doesn't drip. It's really easy. You can feel how much paint is in your sponge and you feel the control of that. So that is a really great tip for you to use. And then what I'll do is I take saran wrap and I put it on a plate. And then I take my glove and put that on there too, so I'm not wasting. And when I'm done, I will clean this paint out completely with warm soapy water. And then I will put it in a plastic Ziploc bag for the next time I need to paint. So I'll have one for white, I'll have one for black, whatever color. I wouldn't mix the color. I would use a separate sponge. So that's the thing I do here. And then what I'm choosing to hang it is these. These are from Menards. This was from Menards too. And I don't always endorse things from Menards. I'm just showing you this is where I buy it. I go to Home Depot too. I've never been to Lowe's because Lowe's is in Kenosha. But anyway, and I'm going to hang it with these. And the reason I'm doing it with the white, it's going to go like this on that side, and in the middle, is because I don't want you to look at this. If I used black, what would happen is you would see it and your eyes would move up to it. What I'm trying to do is keep your eyes here when you walk in and keep my eyes here when I walk into my room. All right. So I hope this video has helped some people, especially when you don't have a brush. You forgot to buy a decent brush. And I painted this whole house myself. This was a foreclosed property. It was a wreck. I've painted the ceilings. I painted the walls. I never used tape. The only time I use tape is when I have a real difficult molding. I'm going around some kind of molding that's really difficult. I used a cutter brush. And I buy my cutter brushes. They're 2-inch cutter brushes over at Family Dollar and Dollar General. They're about $3.50 each, I think, somewhere around there. Cutter brushes can be very, very expensive. Now, again, I'm just telling and sharing with things, tips and tricks, because I don't have the money to buy a $12 paintbrush. Especially once you use it, guess what? Then you've used it. And what I do with all my paintbrushes is I soak them in hot, soapy water. But you have to rinse them thoroughly, because if you have hot soapy water on it, if soap stays on, then the paint doesn't want to adhere to the bristles. So just think about these things that I showed you. I hope that maybe this helps somebody. If it did, please click the like, make sure you subscribe and share my videos, and watch the other series, the dynamics of abuse and also the therapies for a better me. With that, please make sure you stay safe and healthy, and I will see you again next time in Lisa's chat room.